Hi Pratishtha, welcome to this podcast with Programming Pathshala. You have
Thank
been
you.
an incredible student. Let's start with a brief introduction of yours. कि कहाँ से हो, कहाँ पढ़ाई की, क्या किया, और उसके बाद फिर let's start with the your preparation.
Okay, sure. My name is Pratishtha and I did my bachelor's in computer engineering from Thapar Institute of Engineering and Technology, Patiala. And I am from Punjab. And currently I am placed at Flipkart as an SD1.
Wow, congratulations. I have
Thank
seen
you.
you through a long time. ऐसे टाइम पे भी जब वी सेट फॉर वन ऑन वंस एंड आई थॉट कि मैं इसको इंटर्न दे देता हूँ एंड देन आई थॉट कि इसको प्रिपेयर करना बेटर है कि इसको शी शुड प्रिपेयर फॉर मोर। तो आई हैव
Yeah.
इन दैट टाइम जहाँ पे बहुत रिसेशन था, जहाँ पे बहुत फेलियर्स थे, जहाँ पे आई थिंक यू हैड ऑफर फ्रॉम टीसीएस व्हाइल
I
ग्रेजुएटिंग।
was having offer from TCS, yes.
हाँ, टीसीएस डिजिटल का शायद एक ऑफर था उस टाइम।
Yes.
हाँ, तो मैंने वो टाइम भी देखा है। तो एक बार ये बताओ कि प्रिपरेशन कैसे शुरू की, कौन से ईयर में शुरू की, कैसे पता लगा कि डीएसए करना है, किसने बताया, और प्रोग्रामिंग पाठशाला कैसे ज्वाइन किया फॉर दैट इंस्टेंस, और
I
हाउ डिड यू स्टार्ट विद इट?
like I joined in my I guess second year of my graduation and मेरे को ये भैया ने बताया था my brother he also did course from here only and so he suggested me also so I started my preparation from second year itself
ओ
and
नाइस।
throughout that there were ups and downs all the things were there I learned it's like an amazing course if you do it you can easily crack any technical interview round.
वाओ, तो सेकंड ईयर से ही डीएसए करना शुरू कर दिया था?
Yes, second year से start कर दिया था, but it was like कि I was not so consistent with that. I used to do first I started with learning Java. So through
हाँ,
Java I did DSA. So in second year I started, but it was not so paced. I was so not consistent. But as the time goes, the consistency and the code which we write, the neat code, I then started it. The journey started from there itself.
और इसके बीच में कभी ऐसा भी लगता होगा कि यार ये क्यों कर रहे हैं, कुछ और कर लें, बिकॉज विद टाइम अ लॉट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजीज आल्सो केम इन पिक्चर, एमएल केम इन, एआई केम इन। तो बीच में ये डिस्ट्रैक्शंस भी हुए होंगे कि बहुत सारा टेक्नोलॉजी सीखने का या फिर बहुत इधर उधर कुछ करने का, ऐसा भी कुछ हुआ था?
व्हेन यू सी योर पीयर्स ना कि वो ये कर रहे हैं वो ये कर रहा है तब आता था कि हम अभी कुछ नहीं कर रहे हैं so like when I was having a already offer but the joining didn't came at that moment also तो उस मोमेंट पे मेरी आपसे बात हुई थी वन ऑन वन मीटिंग देन आई सेड यू कि मुझे स्प्रिंग बूट सीखना है एंड
हाँ,
देन उसके बाद इलेक्टिव आया था कि कौन सा इलेक्टिव चूज करना है देन आई डिड मॉन स्टैक तो वो
हाँ।
मैंने मर्न स्टैक के सारे लाइव लेक्चर्स लगाए थे रिकॉर्डिंग्स देखी थी तो मर्न स्टैक सीखा एआईएमएल में अभी उतना नहीं था मेरे को इंटरेस्ट जितना मेरे को भी मर्न स्टैक स्प्रिंग बूट में था सो आपने वो कोर्स दिया तो मैंने वो वाला किया उस टाइम उस ड्यूरेशन में ताकि आई शुड यूज दैट टाइम.
तो प्रोग्रामिंग पाठशाला से पहले डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स एल्गोरिथम सीखा और फिर मान स्टैक सीखा?
यस.
अच्छा, एक बात और डेटा स्ट्रक्चर एल्गोरिथम सीखने में, मतलब व्हाट वाज द एस्पेक्ट दैट वाज इंपॉर्टेंट इन इंटरव्यूज? मतलब बहुत सारे लोग डेटा स्ट्रक्चर एल्गोरिथम सीखते हैं पर अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल डू नॉट क्रैक इंटरव्यूज। उसके बहुत सारे रीजंस भी होते हैं, पर व्हाट वाज द मेन एस्पेक्ट? लाइक वर यू आस्क्ड न्यू प्रॉब्लम्स इन द इंटरव्यू, और वर यू आस्क्ड नॉर्मल स्टैंडर्ड क्वेश्चंस इन द इंटरव्यू? एंड
लाइक इफ यू डिड कोर्स वेल ना देन जो आपको इंटरव्यू में पूछा होगा इट विल बी नॉट समथिंग अ वेरी न्यू टू यू मीन्स यू नो दैट कंसेप्ट यू हैव ऑलरेडी रेड दैट. So with my case also it was like concepts I already know. So some were from that only, some were like the variations of that. Yeah, एक question एक या दो था that was new to me. So the very important thing for me was the communication with the interviewer. That you should communicate very well to the interviewer. Your approach should be very clear to him. Start from the very basic brute force approach and then go to the optimized one. Because अगर आप कहीं stuck हो रहे हो तो इंटरव्यू आपको गाइड करेगा if and only if आप अपने अप्रोच उन्हें प्रॉपर्ली बता पा रहे हो. सो फॉर मी दैट वाज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इन माय इंटरव्यू.
राइट, राइट। थोड़ा एक बार इंटरव्यूज का फॉर्मेट भी बता सकते हो क्या, कि कितने इंटरव्यूज हुए, पहले कौन सा इंटरव्यू हुआ, फिर दूसरे राउंड में क्या हुआ, थर्ड राउंड में क्या हुआ, ऐसा कुछ बता सकते हो क्या?
या
या
श्योर.
फिर
तो पहले था कि एक फॉर्म भरा था उसके बाद रिज्यूमे शॉर्टलिस्टिंग हुई एंड विद इन अ वीक आई गॉट अ मेल दैट आई हैव बीन शॉर्टलिस्टेड फॉर गिविंग ऑनलाइन असेसमेंट. इन
या
ऑनलाइन असेसमेंट देयर वर 3 क्वेश्चंस व्हिच वर मीडियम टू हार्ड लेवल. सो वो किया उसके बाद अराउंड आई गेस 3 to 4 days आई रिसीव्ड अ मेल दैट आई हैव माय फर्स्ट राउंड ऑफ इंटरव्यू इन अ कमिंग वीक. सो जब मैंने वो दिया इट वाज लाइक 1 hour 20 minutes राउंड एंड 2 क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम मीडियम टू हार्ड वाज आस्क्ड इन दैट. और उसके बाद द सेम डे एट अराउंड 11:30 आई रिसीव्ड मेल कि इन द मॉर्निंग आई हैव माय सेकंड राउंड ऑफ इंटरव्यू.
Oh, wow. Okay.
at around 12. So I gave that interview also, in which three questions were asked to me. And that also lasted, I guess, around 1 hour, 20 minutes. So after that, the time passed, and it was after a week I received that I have my hiring manager now. So I gave that round. That also I received at night only notification that in the morning I have my HM round. And then around 3 to 4 days I received my selection mail that I
And
got selected.
what was the format of interviews? Was the only DSA asked, or there were some other things like projects or low-level design or anything like that asked in the interviews or in the
Uh,
O?
so after OA round, there were three more rounds. So the first two was totally on data structures and for problem solving skills, in which there were around 5 questions on total, and each round lasted for 1 hour 20 minutes. And then there comes to the HM round, where I still remember that I texted you and Vivek sir that tell me about like HM round, like how should I prepare or go with that. So Vivek sir told me, whenever you are explaining your project, go with the star approach. And in HM round, I did the same. My projects were there. He asked me about detailed explanation about that. I went with star approach. Then mostly my projects were on backend. So they asked me about SQL queries, and then I guess some CS fundamentals, and then the basic HR questions. These
Nice.
were the factors.
Can you just explain for the audience what is a star approach? How do you explain projects in a star approach, or any guidance on how they should explain their project?
What Vivek sir sent me was in that he sent me a link where it was mentioned clearly. So it was basically start with the situation, that how you come up with that problem, like what problem are you going through, making that project, and then there was what task did you perform, what certain actions you are doing to build that project and to overcome that situation problem, and then and was the result that what outcome you are coming with. So this was the approach I started with, and what my role was in the project.
Very nice, very nice. Your communication is very good. Do you think that it played an important role in interviews or anything like that?
I believe it was, because obviously in the interview it is basically like in Flipkart, it is basically like how you approach to the problem. Your not the code itself, but whole the problem from the scratch to the optimized code, which played a very important role in that. So earlier you are a bit scared or so, but when the question popped up, then everything around you gets blank and you are just focusing on the question. So whatever the thoughts I was getting in my mind, I was conveying directly to the interview. Even I was taking only about at max 1 minute of pause if I want to write something. Then I come to the interview itself. Like this is the approach. This is I am thinking of. If there was something wrong or some edge cases, they will tell you that go with that and debug that.
That is very interesting. So many times people are nervous and then they take long pauses. So you are basically advising that I did not take more than 1 minute pauses and I kept communicating with the interviewer while solving the problem.
Yeah, because this was the only feedback I get in my mock interviews, which I gave in through programming Pathshala. That every Excel sheet was having, don't take too much pauses. Initially, I used to take. Then I overcome this in my actual interview.
Very nice, very nice. That is probably the use of mock interviews, because so many times people behave how they behave normally, and how normally they behave in nervousness is that they'll keep thinking unless they are very sure about the solution. But that is not what is expected out of them in an interview setup. They are
Yeah,
expected
in
to
addition to
know.
that, also, na, the more pause you take, the interviewer thinks that you're copying from somewhere or you are looking to some other things also. This
Right.
can also be a there. So it's basically go on communicating. It's be like one-on-one conversation going on in the interview.
Right. I remember there were a lot of frustration and there was a lot of failures also after you graduated and after you finished your college. So when I met you, you had an offer from TCS Digital or something like that.
Yeah. I was
And you
happy.
were not happy. You were not happy with what you have done. And I said you have done course incredibly well. You will get placed for sure. Of course, the hiring is down. So tell me about how you felt at that point of time when you were dealing with frustrations, dealing with failures, and dealing with that rough phase.
Like the very first interview I still remember I gave was of Palo Alto Networks. And I got rejected in, I guess, first or second round of interview. So that was a setback for me, like coming to this close and then going back. Then there were multiple rejections on the way. Like in some, my resume was not shortlisted. In some was after the interview, the results were not coming. And then it was like frustrating for me. It was just like a roller coaster ride of emotions, coming down, then coming up. But at that moment, the family plays a very important role. They were there like a backbone of me. Like don't worry, things will go right. And moreover, when I gave the interview with you also, ना आपने बोला था हो जाएगा, recession है अभी.
Because when I looked at your performance, I was sure about it. It might take some time. It might take some 3 months, 6 months. Because anybody who shows that much perseverance to finish the course to that level, they get placed in top tech for sure. Because that is a pattern that is not defied till now, at least. Ki anybody who scores around 25, 30,000 points, which is about 500 hours of effort. So if you're
Yeah.
studying something for 500 hours, even more effort to be honest, because we give 60 minutes to a hard problem, 40 minutes for a so more than 500 hours of effort that you put in. So you have gained some sort of expertise in it for sure.
Yeah, I
Right.
still remember there was a time when in hard questions I was so much intrigued in that questions now. Like it was 1 or 2 hours I am focusing on that. Then out of frustration I will say now I will post it on a doubt session. And as I don't post, I was very shy while posting it initially. That I will not post what they will say कि आपको ये भी नहीं समझ आया है. Then I was like no. After 1 or 2 hours being greatly intrigued with the situation, now it's time to just post it.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. So anything important that you want to say to people who are struggling right now with jobs, because hiring is still coming up, it is coming up, it is turning better, but there are a lot of people whom I know who are very eligible but are still struggling to find opportunities. Anything that you would want to tell them?
I will only say from my experiences, work hard. There will be the days when you will be down. You will be like nothing is going on the way we want to be. But come up the next day, boost your confidence because after 99 rejections, 99 no's, one yes is only required. That I learned from my experience.
Wow. So after a lot of no's, you heard a yes from Flipkart, right?
Yes.
One last thing that I want to ask is what is the most important aspect that you learned from programming Pathshala's course, or what is it that helped you most through
Like,
that program?
like there I have learned that how start from the very basic. Like start from the very brute force. Now whatever thoughts you are coming, just put it in first question. Then you will realize that there are certain like if we used to for loops or so na, then Vivek sir used to told कि there are some iterations you are taking unnecessary. Going back to the very first thing is unnecessary in this case. So think in that way to come up with the optimized approach. Be consistent. Some things will take time because I still remember the very first module is very lengthy because it has maths, which is a very much like difficult one, and then comes backtracking. So there will be the times when things will not go the way you want. Sometimes there will be the time when you see like now this is easy one. So there will be ups and downs, but go through that and do on the same pace. Be consistent, do one question at least. Because with me also it happened when I was rejected by many companies. So I stopped. Like अब नहीं हो रहा है कि I am not able to do now. But then when it comes from the Flipkart, I worked in a way that there is no plan B. Just go for it. Give your 100%.
Wow, very nice. One last thing that I want to ask, that a lot of people this in this particular time, those who are in college, because you just you are a fresh graduate, right? You graduated in
Yes.
2024 and you are now at Flipkart. A lot of people who are graduating in 2025 or 2026 these days are not willing to do DSA. They say we'll do AIML. Like there is a huge wave of AIML. Like I go to hackathons, I go to so many events to judge, and everybody is just doing integrating some OpenAI system or something like that, and just trying to plug in and play something like that. So they're not solving DSA problems. What is your personal opinion about it? Do you think that DSA is still relevant, or should people do just AIML projects?
Like I believe that DSA is for sure very important because it will be like I would say an exercise for your mind, like problem solving skills. Because the same situation I came through, like one of my junior contacted me and she was like, I know full stack development, I don't know DSA.
Right.
Companies are asking DSA, what should I do? Then my only opinion to her was कि जब आप जाओगे company में, there will be not just one tech stack you are working in. You are working in multiple tech stacks. So at that moment, it's your problem solving skills that whatever you are using. I gave her an example. Like you are using GitHub. Okay. Now data structure which GitHub is using is like a tree. Okay. You have a root, you have the branches. Okay. In the similar way, it is working. If you don't know like how tree works, then how will you go from your main branch to your own branch in that way? So I said problem solving is important because tech stacks will change. but how you tackle that problem is very important.
Wow, very nice. Very nice. I'm very, very happy to see you at Flipkart, honestly, because you were always on my mind. I always thought कि प्रतिष्ठा को intern उठा लेते हैं, प्रतिष्ठा को intern उठा लेते हैं. But at the same time, I was like कि if she'll join us as an intern, she'll be at comfort zone here. Because then you'll not strive for more. And I always saw that potential. When I met you last, you were struggling कि मेरे पास TCS का ऑफर है, मुझे इलेक्टिव करना है, मैं क्या करूँ, मैं जावा बैकएंड सीख लूँ क्या, so that I can get into a startup or something like that. So that was a viewpoint, and from that you are here finally. And I was very sure when I met you कि ये लड़की she'll do something really good. So I am honestly personally very, very happy to see you here.
Thank you so much. It was like for me also when I came to know I was selected, I was on a cloud 7 at that moment. It was like, okay, the thing I was hearing, I want to hear from the very past 4 to 5 months is now actually, it is the reality.
Wow, great. So happy to have you on this conversation. For all of our students, for all of our viewers on YouTube. It is a very inspiring journey, to be honest, in this tough time, because there has been a time in 2021, 2022 when there was a lot of hiring and everybody was getting placed left, right, and center. I feel that software engineering is now getting saturated. Not even, I should not say saturated, it's getting matured. So by that, what I mean is that there is a lot more competition earlier. Like for an example, in UPSC is a very prestigious thing, but there is a lot of competition about it. And now I think software engineering is also maturing to that stage where there is a lot of competition. There are a lot of people preparing for it, and only the best ones are getting into the best places now. So that sort of maturity is coming into the market, and I'm sure that the best ones are being picked up.
Yeah, even for 4 years back, also this much competition was not there. If you know a minimum data structure, it's enough. But now, if you know dynamic programming, greedy algorithms, heaps, in addition to that, some tech stacks also that you are eligible for a good tech company.
So, if somebody has to get into Flipkart, what would you advise them as their study plan?
Like if you are getting for an ST1 or as an intern, you should be good with data structures and algorithms, and you should have a certain decent amount of projects with you. These are the things. Data structure, I would say, are value for coming to the Flipkart as an ST1.
Very nice. All right, Pratishtha, thank you so much. Thank you for this conversation.
Thank you so much.
Bye.